Gopijan Balava Givaredari Gopijan Balava Givaredari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Vishupad Paramahamsa Padavitacharya Hasatora Satta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnavindi Ki Jai Praying Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasiri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Hari Hari Bo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narotamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Ito Jayamudirayet Nastapareshu Abareshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavaduttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki Shrinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Hridansto Hibadrani Vidunoti Sritsitam Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. I think usually on Sunday Maharaj is usually speaking, so they've asked me to give the class. My name is Sikhi Mahiti Das, disciple of Srila Prabhupada. I am the co-president of ISKCON Atlanta, and I'm helping some devotees in China with their preaching also. So, Hare Krishna. How many people are still here from Gaur Purnima Festival, just visiting for the festival? Raise your hand. Okay, I have a few left over. How many are coming for the first time? Raise your hand. Haribo. Okay. We're going to read today the beginning, Canto 9, Chapter 18, and this is King Yayati regains his youth. So yesterday, Maharaj, Vasudev Swami, he had the entire chapter for his class. I've never seen that before. That was the dynasties of the sons of Purava. So there was only one small purport in there, but he forgot to finish the last 2 verses. So they've asked me to finish those. They lead into this next chapter. 3 verses? Okay. Well, let me cheat you. All right. How many were in class yesterday? Raise your hand. Okay. So starting with verse 15, I'll just read the English, save some time. And I'll read up to this point where we will recite verse 2, which is on the board. The class, of course, was on the verse where it says, upon Raji's death, Indra begged Raji's sons for the return of the heavenly planet. They did not return it, however, although they agreed to return Indra's shares in ritualistic ceremonies. Thereafter, Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, offered oblations in the fire so that the sons of Raji would fall from moral principles. We do fire jagas also, right? But we're doing them for Vishnu, right? Jagnar, just like your tongue, brother. When they fell, Lord Indra killed them easily because of their degradation. Not a single one of them remained alive. From Kusha, the grandson of Kashtavirda, was born a son named Prati. The son of Prati was Sanjaya. The son of Sanjaya was Jaya. From Jaya, Kirta was born, and from Kirta, King Haryabya. From Haryabala came a son named Sahadev. From Sahadev came Hina. The son of Hina was Jayasena. And the son of Jayasena was Sankriti. The son of Sankriti was the powerful and expert fighter named Jaya again. These kings were the members of the Chhatravrida dynasty. Now, let me describe to you the dynasty of Nahusha. So this is chapter 18. Text 1. Shri Sukhavacha Yatir Yatai Samyatir Ayatir Viyati Kiti Sarime Nahusa Yasan Indriyani Vadehina. Translation. Sukadeva Swami said, O King Parikshit, as the embodied soul has 6 senses, King Nahusa had 6 sons. Name Yati, Yayati, Samyati, Ayati, Viyati, and Kirti. So today's verse on the board, you can repeat after me. Rajam nachet yati, Rajam nachet yati prita, Datam tat parinam nivat, Yatapavishta purusha, Atmanam nava buddhyate, Rajam nachat yati prita, Datam tat parinat mavit, Yatarpavishna purusha, Atmanam nava buddhyate, Rajam nachat yati prita, Datam tat parinam mavit, Yatapavishta purusha, Atmanam nava buddhyate. Amen. Janita Pitra Datam Tat Parinam Vavit Yatra Pavishta Purusha Atman Vaishnavis. Any ladies? Rajam Nachadyati Pitra Tam Tat Parinam Vivit Yatra Pravishta Purusha Anam. Anyone else want to try? Okay. Rajam, the kingdom. Na'ahichat, did not accept. Yati, the eldest son. Yati, sorry, the eldest son, his name is Yati. That's it. Pitra, by his father. Datam, offered. Taparinamvit, knowing the results of becoming powerful as a king. Yatra, wherein. Pravishta, having entered. Purusha, such a person. Atmanam, self-realization. Na, not. Avabudyate, will take seriously and understand. Translation. When one enters the post of king or head of the government, one cannot understand the meaning of self-realization. Knowing this, Yati, the eldest son of Nahusha, did not accept the power to rule, although it was offered by his father. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Self-realization is the prime objective of human civilization, and it is regarded seriously by those who are situated in the mode of goodness and have developed the Brahminical qualities. Kshatriyas are generally endowed with material qualities conducive to gaining material wealth and enjoying sense gratification. But those who are spiritually advanced are not interested in material opulence. Indeed, they accept only the bare necessities for a life of spiritual advancement in self-realization. It is specifically mentioned here that if one enters political life, especially in the modern day, one loses the chance for human perfection. Nonetheless, one can attain the highest perfection if one hears Srimad Bhagavatam. This hearing is described as Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya. Maharaj Parikshit was involved in politics, but because at the end of his life he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami, he obtained perfection very easily. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore suggested Stani Stita Shuti Gautam Tanu Vanur Manubir Ye Prayasho Jita Jito Vyasi Tas Trilokyam. This is actually from the Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, verse 3. Regardless of whether one is in the mode of passion, ignorance, or goodness, if one regularly hears Srimad Bhagavatam from the self-realized soul, one is freed from the bondage of material involvement. Om Agyanitimiranjasa Gananjanan Shalakaya Chakshumai Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Pati Panam Papadimyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'll beg all your blessings so that I can say something nice and inspiring and I'm a bit nervous, so please forgive me if I make any mistakes in my nervousness. In our temple, we have Bhagavatam classes, maybe 2 or 3 people. America's struggling a little bit, so I'm not accustomed to speaking in large gatherings. It takes a little practice and you're not so nervous. But anyway, I try to write down some things here to keep me on point. So again, I was amazed at His Holiness Bhaktivasudeva Swami's class yesterday. It was mentioned a whole chapter. But I think, man, what's he going to say? So I was thinking, I'm glad I didn't get that speak yesterday, and I have today, which is a little easier. But yeah, he made some very nice points, which lead into what I will talk about today, especially the points of morality and some other things that are there, which should come out in the class. So thank you, Maharaj. So Prabhupada begins this purport mentioning how self-realization is the prime objective of human civilization. Therefore, we can conclude that the current modern civilization is not human. They're animals, right? They may have 2 arms, 2 legs, look like gentlemen, suit and tie. But basically, they're animals. So why is that? Animals have no interest in self-realization, isn't it? They're only interested in eating, sleeping, sex life, and defending. I use an example a lot about how many of us have the experience of walking on the sidewalk, and especially in big cities, they have a little grass area, and then on another side, at least in the West, you have garbage cans, so everything is nice and neat. And you'll see the ants make a nice home on the grassy side. And then they walk across the sidewalk to get the food from the garbage can. But yet there's thousands of people walking on that sidewalk, isn't it? What's happening to them? Crunch, 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 crunch. Nobody's aware that they're down there because people are busy on their smartphones, or they're talking, or on my way to work, and so many things. Not even so insignificant. And yet the ants, we're such big beings, you think they would be aware. Oh, look at these huge things that are on the sidewalk. Let's build our home on the other side so we don't get crunched. So can you explain that to the ant? My dear ant, please put your home on that side. Can you explain what is a human being to them? That there is a mayor of Calcutta, there's a president of India, there's demigods in the higher planets. They don't have the capacity to understand. All they're thinking is what? Sugar, 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 sugar. That's what Prabhupada says. You see ants, they always walk around like they're intoxicated from eating so much sugar. So always sugar, 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 sugar. And because we can't explain it to them, does that mean we don't exist? So the human form of life, we have a benediction in that we are more aware than the simple animal tendencies. We are also being pushed by these same propensities to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. But for the humans, there's atato brahma jigyasa, right? Now we have this human form, you should inquire. And I'm sure which everyone has done, especially the people in this room for sure. To come to this point, at some point in your life, you had to think, why was I born like this? Why is there anything? I say, this is human. Animals, there's no possibility. So for the humans, Krishna has created a system so that we can facilitate our self-realization. And at the same time, he's very clever because we've come to this material world not for self-realization. Otherwise, we just stay in the spiritual world. Or for those who say we were in the Brahma Jyoti or whatever, we would have come down here. So he says in Bhagavad Gita, Chartavanya Maya Shrista, Guna Karma Sabhagasa, that according to the qualities in which everyone is born with, there is some work for them. So therefore the Vedas has been brought down, which generally deal with this subject matter. And therefore we have the orders of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. You see? For a society can be peaceful. What does peaceful mean? Those who are desirous of enjoying their senses can obtain their result. And those who want self-realization, they can obtain their result also in peace. So those who are interested in self-realization, as Prabhupada mentions here, he says, and it is regarded seriously by those who are situated in the mode of goodness and have developed the Brahminical qualities. So in the 18th chapter, it mentions what are those qualities. Samodama stapa socham shantir arjuna evacha jnanam vijnanam ashikam brahma karma sabhagvajam. So, Samo, they're peaceful. Why are they peaceful? Because their senses are, the next one mentions, Dhammastapa. Dhamma, they have control of their senses. Our senses are like children sometimes. You notice, for those who don't have children, when people bring their very young child, 1, 2 years old, 3 years old, it's a little bit of a disturbance, isn't it? They just run everywhere. Your mind is focused on that child running everywhere. For the mother, it's like, oh, he's growing up, he's cute. But for everyone else, it's like, my God, can't he make him sit down? Except these children, see? These are Brahmin children. See how peaceful sitting? Most of the time, right? No, he's okay. But they're learning to control the senses. That's what Brahman, control the senses. Not that whatever the senses want, you give it to them. It sounds like a good idea. Give the child whatever he wants, just don't give me any disturbance. What happens when he gets older? You never have any peace. So there's some control must be there. And that control requires tapa, austerity, voluntary austerity. Socham, purity. What is purity? That means freedom from sinful activity. And sinful activity is defined by the Vedas. Shanti, which means tolerance. You can tolerate all kinds of things. When you're a Brahmin, you live very simple, especially now in Kali Yuga. At least I think in India, if you're brahmachari, people, they touch your feet now. Is it? You go onto the street? Wasn't like that in 77 or 74 when the first devotees came here. They would poke fun at us. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You know, I feel like punching somebody. I said, okay, don't punch anyone. You're supposed to be Brahmin, right? I remember trying to sell books at that time. Nobody would take a book. They just, Now, we were on a tour last year in South India with a big international group. And there was one devotee from China with us. So I was telling her, I said, you come with me and sell books too. Oh, what am I going to do? Nobody's going to listen to. I said, you're from China. You'll be, they see you in a sari. They're going to really listen to you and take the book. So, and it's a fact. I just walk up, you hand them the Bhagavad Gita, especially in the shops. And I just pull out the 100 rupees and show it to them like this. And look at them. And they give me the 100 rupees. That's out of respect. You see, now people are a little more purified. So you don't get that in America now. Maybe a little better. But to live in a temple, people sometimes think, oh, he can't do anything else. Therefore, he's living in the temple. You see, so. Therefore, you have to tolerate. And why should, how do you tolerate? What lends to tolerance? You have to be a person who's forgiving. And why would you be forgiving? Because you understand Prakriti, Kriya, Manani, Guna, Karmani, Savarcha. That this is just the modes, material, nature acting. We are all servants of Krishna, but we are covered by the modes, material, nature. So whatever is occurring now is not that individual. This is the arrangements of the modes of material nature. So you can tolerate. There's no offense. You know? Arjayam, honesty. And then Jnanam, knowledge, which we get from the Vedas. And more importantly, Vijnanam, realization of that knowledge. And then he's Astyakam, he's religious. So Brahma Karma Svabhavajam, these are the qualities of a Brahmin. And therefore, with those qualities, they live very simple life because they want to be entangled in anything that's going to pull them from the path of self-realization. So then, as we mentioned here, it mentions that Yanti was born of these Brahmin qualities, even though his father was a Kshatriya. So even back then that was happening. What to speak of now? Nobody has born with these qualities. So then the next level are the qualities of the king. Soryam Teja Drita Daksham, Yude Chap Yapayayanam, Danam Ishwara Bhavascha, Chatyam Karma Sabhavajam. And they're meant to be heroic, powerful. What does that powerful mean? We read how, like Arjuna, he could kill 1,000 elephants by himself. You know, we can't even deal with one baby elephant, what to speak of, right? You kids ride on the elephant sometime? They do? Isn't he very powerful, isn't he? It's a little scary at first. You think, oh my God, he could just toss me off of this thing. Isn't it? Or if I fall off of him. I noticed the big elephant, he's a little naughty. If you walk past him, you notice one thing he does? Who knows? He'll whack you with his tail, isn't it? Watch him. Anybody comes by, and you think, okay, I've cleared the elephant. He didn't step on me. All of a sudden, whack. He got me the other day while I was coming to the temple. I was very careful. But actually, I tested him because I saw some videos like that. And anybody in the back that's coming there is like, especially if you touch his rear leg. He'll give you a... So they're pretty agile, too. You think maybe they're so big they can't move, they can't... Oh, they're very quick. There's the battle of Krishna and the demon elephant, isn't it? Guarding the gate, you remember that story? No one can defeat that elephant. Krishna started dancing around him, tricking him. He's like, what the heck did he go? Give him a slap. So, anyway... Kshatriyas were powerful. They could kill 1,000 elephants. And those were not even physically powerful in persuasion also. That's what we see nowadays. We have presidents of these countries. Like in America, we had Donald Trump. Draft dodger. He avoided going to the military. No heroism whatsoever. Fear, you see. Not, you know. His father paid money and got him so he didn't have to go to war. But he does have power. Very easy, convince millions of people to vote for me. Even though he's the biggest rascal, still people, yeah, I like him. He's for me. Isn't it? And actually, he's just for all the rich people and himself. But the poor people, yes. So that's a certain power, too, that ability to the politic, convince and make followers. So Kshatriyas have those qualities. Determination also. They're resourceful. And they're courageous in battle. And also, besides all that, they're generous. They give in charity. So these qualities in general are not conducive to self-realization. Right? That's a difficult task. That we mentioned how they have to be tolerant and peaceful. Can a Kshatriya be peaceful and tolerant? Then he's not going to be able to keep the kingdom peaceful. That was Arjuna's perplexity. Somehow or another, the Brahmin qualities were coming out of him. I don't want to fight. I don't want to kill my relatives. Please, Krishna. I'll just go to the forest, okay? You wimp, get back out there. You see? So as you become Krishna conscious, your heart softens. Right? You still have to do your duty. Probably the biggest example of that is Srila Prabhupada. Many of us have seen the videos of Prabhupada, of course, right? But it's nothing like being in the presence and you see the live interaction. So to see him come into the temple room and sit on the Vyasasana and he's, and you think, okay, well, he should be like this. He's, humble. Oh, please, please, no, don't worship me. But his qualities are different. It's hard. You can't see it in terms of material qualities. But you can see the determination and the focus. His focus was on the expanding of this mission of Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of his spiritual master. And so focused on that these other things were not a distraction. Because to do that, he has to train us to be humble into all these qualities. Therefore, he has to accept all that worship. I remember before his passing, he said he wanted these murtis of himself installed in the temples. That seems a little arrogant, doesn't it? What? You pass away and you want a murti of yourself? We have one of the murti wallas here, Bhaktivinoda Prabhu Ki. Made the beautiful murti of Prabhupada in the Samadhi. So, of course, he captured that mood very well. You go to some other temples, you see they kind of lost it because people haven't seen him and weren't in his presence. So they can't really capture it sometimes. Prabhupada have a little smile sometimes on these murtis, but generally it's very grave. Grave because he's focused on his mission with determination. So are we therefore lost because nobody's born with these qualities of a Brahmin? And what to speak of, nobody has qualities of a Kshatriya anymore. Prabhupada said maybe there's a few Vaishyas. In Kali Yuga, what is everyone? We say Sudra, right? But they're not even Sudra. Sudra even has some respect. A Sudra, he doesn't mind sweeping and mopping the floor and serving the higher orders. Or maybe being a secretary. But nobody wants to take those tasks up now. So actually everyone is less than Sudra. Malecha, Yavanas, cow killers, meat eaters, womanizers, alcoholics. So in Kali Yuga, therefore this age is generally meant for just reaping the results of your sinful activities. You see, that system is finished. But we are very fortunate. Because Lord Krishna, every now and then he goes, okay, I can't stand the suffering they're undergoing down here. Isn't it? It seems a little, I don't know. When I was young, I grew up in a Christian family. And I could never really accept the Christian philosophy as it was being presented. Because of, they preach heaven and hell. I think in India, you don't hear that so much. You don't have that effect of, if you don't love God, you're going to hell. They don't talk like that. It's generally, God loves you and follow these rituals. In China, not like that either, is it? No, they're just work. No God. We are God. You do what we say. You don't believe us? Watch. So they say, Buddha, okay, Buddha, he's not so challenging, right? Buddha's not so challenging. So, but this, why would God send me to hell forever? I didn't even ask to be created. No, he creates you, and then he puts all these things in front of you. Don't touch them. If you touch those things, I'm going to send you to hell forever. Is that fair? Right? And you don't get a second chance either. Forever. So I was like, no, this can't be right. I can't accept this. Didn't make any sense. So we know he's not like that. And therefore, and of course, Krishna, he's not like us. We have maybe one purpose, focus on enjoying. He's multifaceted. So he comes to taste the nectar of worshiping himself as a devotee. And because he's in the mood of devotee, he's very merciful. He is not just Prabhu, a Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavadandaya Krishna Prinubadayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Guru Tashe Namaha. So once in a day of Brahma, how long is a day of Brahma? Like 4 billion years. That's just 12 hours. So times 2, 8 billion years. Okay, special mercy. You have to do anything. Just chant Hare Krishna. Seems too easy, isn't it? So, how's my time going here? Prabhupada discusses this. Pointed many places in his books. In the Bhagavatam, in the 4th canto, 14th chapter, text 18 in the purport, he goes on to describe the situation of Kali Yuga. He says, these proud malechas, persons less than Sudra, representing themselves as kings, will terrorize their subjects. And on the other hand, the subjects themselves are also tyrannous. With the most vicious practices. They practice evil habits, behave foolishly. All the standards are so low. So it's nothing but suffering, basically. What are you going to do? The leaders are all selfish, no good qualities, and the people lower them or even less intelligent. They're easily tricked. How many people have experienced being, we say conned in America, where someone is trick you into something you didn't want to do for their advantage? Anyway, in India sometimes that can happen, especially new people come, right? And maybe you jump in the rickshaw and he can see you're brand new. And you go, Yogo Pit, 500 rupees, okay. Right. Because, you know, in America, that is about $10. You would pay $10 to go that far. But in India, you know, it's not even 20 cents. It's like, 20 rupees. But he says it with such confidence, you go, okay. And if he's like, 500 rupees, you go, wait a minute. That's not the right price. So a person who can give you confidence to make you do something you don't want to. So this is valued in Kali Yuga. Prabhupada goes on in the 2nd canto, chapter 4, verse 18, that famous verse, Kiratahunya, Pulinda Pulaksha Abira Sumba Yavana Kashadaya Ye Necha Papa Yad Parashaya Sudyanti Tasmai Papa Vishwe Namaha. He says, the Kiratas, Hunas, Andra, Pulinda, Pukashas, Abira, all these people, Kasha races, even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord, due to his being the supreme power. So he begs to offer their obeisances to the Lord. So these are all the uncivilized races that existed. Even back then they were there. So, Huna, those are East Germany, Russia. You can see today, still powerful, isn't it? Still have some power. Pulindi, or tribal races that you see in various parts of the world. Abira, Yavanas, Kasha. These are China, Mongolia, these places. We can still see the history of those civilizations. We wouldn't have our fireworks if it wasn't for them. They invented gunpowder and all these wonderful things that people use nowadays. Pasta, not Italians, from China. So all these above historic people, he says, even though their civilizations are sinful, and they're not at the perfect human standard, still, by the glories of the devotees, they can rise immediately to this pure platform. Before Prabhupada coming to America, you can imagine, the Gaudiya Math is like, go to New York City? Are you crazy? Even Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, what did he say to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? He said, I'm going to Calcutta to preach. Don't go there, you'll fall down. In those days, Calcutta was so beautiful. The British had many empires all over. Some of China, Hong Kong, so many places. Such a small group of people conned everybody, didn't they? And then came with their power behind them, with their military. Subjugated India, so many places. But Calcutta, they made so beautiful, they call it the crown jewel of the British Empire. They consider that their best place. So Bhaktisiddhanta wanted to go there and preach, and his spiritual master said, don't go. Too much Maya. We see that in America. We're not making so many devotees, so we bring devotees from Mayapur mostly to be pujaris. So when you all grow up, you can come to America and be a pujari. If you want. Okay? And so still it looks a little bewildering. Coming from this to the U.S. and people, after a while, no more brahmachari. Don't last very long. We have so many Lord Nrsingadeva's pujaris there. Many of them. Staunch. Difficult to become pujari for Nrsingadeva, isn't it? How many people like that service? Who wants to be pujari of Lord Nrsingadeva? He's not going to claw you, don't worry. He's very gentle. Right, Pankajani? First time they asked for a pujari, nobody wanted to do it. They're all fearful. No, I'm not going to worship. So Janani Vas tells Pankajani, you're going to have to do it. So he took up that service, and turns out he's a little kitten, isn't he? Huh? He's pretty gentle. So I would like to try it. I don't care. If he scratches me to death, fine, whatever. At least I got a chance to be close to him for a little while. Right. So anyway, they get bewildered. They come, and it's, they never seen. Everybody's got nice car. They look so opulent. And after a while, they go, why can't I be a devotee like these people? They come on Sundays, and they're chanting Hare Krishna. I can serve like that too. Why am I struggling in the temple like this? So you can get pulled down easily. But what keeps us focused is, you remember, why am I living simple? Is it just for the sake of simplicity? That's a very elevated position, actually, where your desires, you have no desires, really. So you don't need to do anything. But we do desire. What is our desire? Desire of Prabhupada, right? What is Prabhupada's desire? Parampara, his guru's desire, all the way back to Mahaprabhu, which his desire is, every town and village, his name should be chanted. Why shouldn't we not have a Mayapur Dham in every continent? We should have one. Why shouldn't we? Yeah, nobody wants to be a devotee, it's too difficult. No, you just have to go out and present it. That power is already there, especially in these books. That's why so much trouble was given in putting these books together. Prabhupada mentioned, he said, I could have finished this in a year or two, all of these books. But he took his time meticulously to present them in such a way that people from all over the world will become enlivened to take up the service of Lord Krishna. And the Goswamis took so much trouble in Vrindavan. Have you all ever having to write with palm leaf? Do they do that sometime? You should make them do it one time, just to experience that. Get a piece of palm leaf, get a little ink, and get whatever instruments they use, and write a book. Who wants to try that? Imagine you have to do the Bhagavatam. They'd probably fill this room up. Right? So much trouble they underwent. And Krishna now has arranged technology in such a way. Look at this. $5. Come and take one. Nothing. Or you can put it in a little electronic form. Here, I'll send you a copy. Is that not mercy? So our duty is just to let the book preach. Just convince them to take it. So because we're bhaktas act on a different platform. Sometimes you hear devotees say, Prabhu, you're too much in the mode of passion. Right? Don't we say that sometimes? You have to be more in the mode of goodness, Prabhu. Don't, I can't do that service. It's not the mode of goodness. The modes are not what induce devotional service. You know what the modes do? They bind you to the material world. But for the sake of Guru, you can act in any way. Srila Prabhupada made us act like that. He wanted these books distributed. And you would see devotees who had no inclination to do it because in those days, especially in the West, how many people remember going out for the first time with their dhoti? Right? Prabhu, it was people look at you. What kind of freak is this? I thought I saw hippies, but this is beyond hippie. And you're like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And everyone, the whole street would just stop. Would you like one of these books? Don't even talk to me. So if you're lucky to sell 2 books, that was like, wow, you did 2 books? How did you do that? How did you do that? But meanwhile, the books are stacking up. Prabhupada's printing 10,000 at a time. They don't have money. I believe it was in 74, one of the times when Prabhupada became very ill, to the point we thought he was going to leave his body. You all remember that? 74, somewhere around there. Not the last time, but before that. So everyone began to do big Harinam, Kirtan, increase their service because we're, Krishna, please don't take Prabhupada. Don't take Prabhupada. And then his health came back. It seemed as though because, well, what's the point of him being here? You all aren't doing the service. I'll take him back. So somehow or another, devotees had to use the mode of passion and ignorance to sell these books. The way we sold the books was not in the mode of goodness. Like in India, you go in your dhoti, you can, Hare Krishna, please. Right? You can sell like that. Even now in America, you can go to a book table like this. I think in Europe too, isn't it? Generally, dhoti, you can convince someone to take a book. 70s and 60s, forget it. So we put on regular dress. And if you look for those old pictures, you'll see Vaisheshika with the wig. Where are you flying in from? Hey, come on over here. Hand these out to everyone. Everyone's giving a donation. See what you can give to help out. Come on. What's it all about? You can read about it later. Give a donation. Let me give you change. Okay. You have to use some passion and ignorance on them. Transcendental con men. Which was nice because Krishna gave us the ability to take our bad qualities and use them in a glorious way. So, of course, devotees who were in the 60s, when they saw this happen, they were like, Prabhupada, look what they're doing. Look how they're presenting these books with this. Prabhupada was like, what? They're doing what? And then one devotee said, well, they sold this many books. He said, oh, then it's okay. Then it's okay. You see? So, this is the glory of devotional service to Krishna. Krishna himself, what is he? He's a rascal, isn't he? Isn't he? He's nothing but a rascal. What is, if you read Chaitanya Bhagavat, you see how much rascal Lord Chaitanya is. I just started reading it for the first time on my way up here, and I was becoming angry. I couldn't believe it. I go, he is such a rascal. You know, the Brahmins are in the Ganga, and I'll say, whoop, pull their feet out from under them. Take the men's clothes, put it where the women's clothes are. Take the women's clothes, put it with the men's clothes. And if you complained, you know what he would do? He would do even worse to you tomorrow. And if you complain again, triple. He was really bad. So what do you think, we're supposed to walk around like this? No, he doesn't want us like that. We have to be a little bit rascal also to spread this movement. Of course, now the movement is growing, we can become more Brahminical. Therefore, we have our Gurukul to make some real Brahmins, right? From the young age, trained up. When I was their age, my mother was very proud to take me to the dance, to dance with the girls. I remember that. I didn't want to. I was like, I had no interest. I was a young boy. I'm like, no, I don't want, no, go. Dance. Like, oh, just see him. See, training you to be lusty. You know, and then when the lust gets awakened, don't do this, don't do that, don't do you know, better to learn not to be lusty, not to overeat, to be regulated. For what? So I can just be peaceful? No, so we can expand the Krishna conscious movement all over the world so that we can have these large festivals and places everywhere. So it would be nice within my lifetime to see that in other places of the world. I think maybe in their lifetime they should be able to see that, right? If we continue on with our preaching activities. And I still feel a little jealous. Devotees from China, they have nice opportunity, groundbreaking work, pioneering work. It's so new there. There's probably 1.5 billion Chinese people. Can you imagine that? I think a third of the world is Chinese. Did you know that? But they keep them locked up. He won't let them out. So a few have escaped. So they get to go back. Maybe there's 2,000 Chinese devotees. They get to expand that. And they take to it very easily, I notice. As soon as they're presented to them, you see them coming. Nice quality devotees. They're not just coming because I have nothing, I'm suffering in that way. So wherever we are, we should be thinking like that. How to expand this Krishna consciousness. We have Harinam Ruchi back there from... I'm still amazed. Stand up so they can see you, Prabhu. You see him shaking his head. Anyway. They just travel like Narada Muni. There's 4 of them. I asked, I said, where do you get your money from? Oh, we just chant and sell books. I said, but you go all over the world. I don't see. So Krishna provides if you dedicate yourself to service in that way. So we'll stop here. Does anyone have any questions or comments, Prabhu? You have to talk loud. I don't see any microphone. Or maybe there's a...
Thank you, Prabhu. When you were reading the verse in the purport, I was reminded of our current presidential candidate in the U.S. And, you know, the purport paints a pretty dark picture of, you know, somebody entering into a political sphere and trying to maintain a spiritual consciousness. Can you say anything about what's our current candidate there in the U.S.? And
this purport was so big, it was like, man, I didn't know what to talk about. I thought I'd take these points. Because a lot of people aren't from America and they're not. In China, there's no election. You all know what election is? Have no clue. They don't know. You just do what I tell you. That's so they make good devotees. Bow down. Stand up. Do it. So actually, there was a political party before her. Do you know that? Out of Atlanta, a lot of history there. Balavanta, who brought the Krishna conscious movement, established the first temple in Atlanta. Let me put my hearing aid in. I wonder why I wasn't hearing things properly. Oh, better, okay. So someone he approached Prabhupada, and Prabhupada's very innovative. He says, I'm going to run for mayor of Atlanta. So they made a political party called In God We Trust. And Prabhupada encouraged them. And he thought in the end we'll get a lot of publicity on TV. And he began to preach these principles of what is a real leader, qualities of a real leader. So he said, none of these people have that, only we do. Hare Krishnas. So you should vote for us. A lot of coverage. And Prabhupada encouraged him. He told him, yes, one day you will be president of the United States. He even said that to encourage him. And then they went to Washington, D.C. to make a bigger party, and something happened, but anyway, it all stopped. So we see, like Varnashram Dharma, everybody's always, oh, we have to implement Varnashram Dharma, this is how we should do it. Actually, will occur naturally. Like right now, we have this Tulsi Garba, I think her name is. She is the daughter of a devotee of Gaudiya Vaishnava. Her father, I believe, was initiated by Prabhupada, but their society broke away at that time. But Prabhupada still accepted them. They're kind of the first Krishna West. You could say, but they're not broken away. I didn't mean to say it like that. Excuse me, no offense, but you know, not to be just Dodi and Tilak and things like that. So we can see how that's facilitated her rise in the American politics. And she openly, when she's questioned, what is your religion? She says, I am a Gaudiya Vaishnava. I'm a Hare Krishna, a product of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And she's very intelligent, so she knows how to say these things in such a way it doesn't seem so dogmatic, but to mix it with the current mix of materialism so that people go, oh yeah, I kind of like that. As a matter of fact, last year, a couple of years ago, when the presidential primaries were going on, we were selling books, and I would use her. I said, have you heard of Tulsi Garba? Yeah. I said, you see where she took her vows on the Bhagavad Gita, this book? She's a spiritual warrior. This gives her inspiration. You should take one. Yeah, I'll take one. Immediately, you could sell so many books. So at minimum, this is a good time to go out and sell a lot of books if she gets higher up into the process. You go, hey, this is Tulsi Garba's book. You can benefit from this. You know. So they call this the compassionate, I can't remember the terminology. They can see the economy is changing from capitalism now to one of servitorship. The next generation are becoming more like that, you know, mindful of the economy, of the ecology. Not just myself, consume everything, who cares about anybody else? That's how animals live, right? Does the tiger care if he eats every animal in the forest? No. He's not thinking, well, let me save some for later. Don't eat them all. Of course, naturally, when their belly is full, they're very peaceful. So they find people are not buying automobiles, the young people. It's a phenomenon because they say, why should we own a car and waste so much fuel and all these things? It's not that they don't have money. We'll use share riding or Uber, all these other things. So car production is dropping, so many things. Sharing of solar power, the solar power is such that it produces so much electricity that they put electricity back into the grid. And they'll give you money as a result. So the electric companies are not becoming so much, or becoming less producers of electricity, but manipulators and sharing of the electricity. So the whole thing is changing slowly. And how is that happening? From all our book distribution. Really, it is. If you can almost chronologicalize the changing of society with our preaching. When I joined, I never heard of vegetarian. I was shocked when I read, what, don't eat meat? Never heard of it. I didn't grow up in the West and in those cultures, and I was convinced, okay. And told my mother, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. She, are you crazy? You're going to die. No, I don't care. It says this, okay, I'm taking you to the doctor. The doctor too. Are you crazy? You're going to die. It's in 1971. And I said, fine, I don't care what they say. I'm not going to do it. She says, okay, I'm not cooking any more vegetables. How's that? I'll fix you. Now she's in her 95. She's like, oh, I'm trying to eat less meat. You know, see, now everybody talks like that. So, you know, we may not see the effect of, Prabhupada used to tell us, like, can you imagine distributing Ancha Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita to a person who knows nothing about Krishna consciousness, who knows nothing about vegetarian, who knows nothing about I'm not the body, and you give them the Ancha Lila of the Lord Chaitanya laying in the Jamuna, Ganga. And they asked Prabhupada, why should we not distribute these books? What are they going to get out of this? He said, you don't know the potency of these books. They don't have to read them. See, even if they just put them on their bookshelf, they make spiritual advancement. So they're very powerful. So Prabhupada had great faith in the holy name, and therefore he could come to the West. And he had greater faith in these books, so he stressed so much, distribute book, distribute book, distribute book. So I went way over. We'll stop here. Thank you for listening. All glory, Sri Guru, Sri Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki. All glory to the Sammo devotees. Hare Krishna.